As you can see here, in the last 7 days, we've made $6,966. In the previous 7 days before that, we made $4,559. Today, we're at $600 so far for the day. We should be expecting a $1,500 payment today. On the 2nd of December, today's the 4th, so 2 days ago, we did $2,100. And then yesterday on the 3rd, it was $1,500, okay? I started this AI lead generation agency a little over 3 months ago. And in this video, I essentially just want to show you the entire business in a nutshell. I think a lot of the people that you watch online show you Stripe screenshots and revenues from businesses that are not actually the ones that they're showing you, right? It's usually from their coaching business. So yeah, about 3 months ago, I had the plan. I said, you know what? I'm going to build this brand new business from scratch to prove that I can do it. And it's what I've been focused on. And we're scaling to 100 grand a month. So just to be transparent, in the last 4 weeks, I think it's only like 13 grand. Just to be transparent, like we don't make 7 grand every single week. We're ramping up and we're scaling. We have appointment setters now, and we're growing quickly. Okay, so this is the update on the business. Here's what I'm going to break down with you. I'm going to break down the offers. So what is it that we sell? To who do we sell it to? How much does it cost? Et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be breaking down the funnel that I use to be able to get 5 to 10 sales calls a day, as well as the delivery process that I do to basically fulfill my delivery for my clients. All right. This will be a no BS approach. I just want to show you guys everything and hopefully provide value to you in case you're looking to start something or pivot or scale with anything that I might be sharing with you here in this video. Okay. So it all starts with the offer. You know, your offer is basically your entire business. And I boil down an offer into 5 different components, and I call them P's because each one stands for a different P. And the first P is for profile. It's who are we selling to? And to keep it plain and simple, I'm selling to established real estate agents that are making at least 6 figures a year. They also have to have experience converting cold leads before. So maybe they're getting leads from Zillow or ads or some companies. They have to have that experience in order to be a client with us. Now, a couple key notes on profile to hopefully help you out as well. When I started this offer, I was selling to any realtor that had a credit card and a pulse. And I shortly learned that bad clients are really freaking bad. And sometimes it's better to have no client than a bad client. And so I made the decision about 2 weeks ago that we're only bringing on well-established realtors. I don't want to work with beginners that don't have much money. I don't want to work with beginners that are constantly blowing up my phone and that have no idea how to convert an appointment and a lead that we bring them. Very plain and simple. So there's something in just selling to people that have money that makes selling a whole lot easier and makes you a whole lot more money. Another thing to note here is that what I'm essentially selling is an AI lead generation system that brings my clients more appointments and more opportunities to convert deals. If you're going to replicate something like this, it is best practice to sell to an industry that sells something expensive. Roofers, realtors, agencies, coaches, etc., etc. The more they charge, the more valuable this service becomes because the more an appointment that I bring somebody is worth to them. Hopefully that makes sense. The second piece, the promise. So what am I promising these well-established realtors? I'm essentially just promising to build them an AI texting system that can book them qualified seller appointments. That's the promise, plain and simple. That's what I promised them. The third P is the plan. So what's the plan to fulfill on this promise and get them what they desire? Well, it's a three-step plan. It's very simple, and I'm going to be showing you that here in the delivery funnel. But the first thing that we do is we get them a lead list. So we get them a list of homeowners in their area that they want to target. We then launch an outbound texting campaign, essentially just pitching these homeowners. We qualify, we set up an appointment, and the last step to the plan is to monitor, so track all the stats from the campaign, refine any scripts or questions we want the AI to be asking these leads, and ultimately scale. Because if I could help a client scale, I'm going to make a whole lot more money, especially with the pricing structure that I've been using for the actual offer. The fourth P is proof. So what proof do I have that I can say or that I can fulfill my promises, right? And these are just client case studies. So I have a lot of case studies and testimonials. My first ever agency was a Facebook ad agency in real estate. So I also have a lot of case studies from that as well. So I've worked with a lot of realtors and I have a lot of case studies. If you don't have proof, then you shouldn't do what I'm going to do in the next P, which is pricing and having a minimum commitment on how much somebody's going to spend with you. So essentially what I do for pricing is I charge them between $100 and $200 for every appointment that I bring them. I also have the clients cover the cost to doing the outbound. So with this offer, what I'm delivering is a system that sends text messages, and each of those text messages costs a certain amount, right? And before, what I was doing is I was just billing them per appointment, but then I was covering the actual texting fees. And I didn't like it because it hurt my margin. You know, I had to be cautious on how much we were spending to get an appointment. And I would just prefer, the same way when I ran my Facebook ads, typical SMMA for realtors, I would get them to cover ad spend. In this case, I'm just getting them to cover texting spend, right? So I charge them $100 to $200 per appointment that I bring them, and I make them sign an agreement and a contract to buy a minimum of 10 appointments from us. I love high ticket deals, right? And the positioning to this offer, the way, it's working very, very well for me because it doesn't feel like the typical system that's burned them before. If you're selling to people that are very sophisticated or an industry that's very saturated, it's so hard to tell them like, hey, it'll be $5,000 or $10,000 for us to build the whole thing, because chances are they've been sold to by somebody just like you before, and this person failed to deliver, and these guys burnt their money on fire and just wasted it. And that's the case with most of the real estate industry. There's so many agencies selling to them. And I also have a whole separate video I can make on why saturation is real and why I'm not afraid of it. If you have an industry where there's a ton of other people competing with you, it's for a good reason. It's because there's a lot of people making money there. And so I wouldn't be afraid of a saturated industry, but you just need an innovative offer, kind of similar to this, where it kind of reverses the risk and it's something that feels fresh and new to them. So when I tell them like, look, I'm just charging you per appointment, a lot of them are more open to it, but I get them to commit to a minimum. So if I'm charging you $200 for every appointment that I bring you, I want you to sign an agreement that commits for you to buy at least 10 appointments to get an accurate idea of how the process is going anyways. So I get them to agree to spend at least $1,000 to $2,000 based on how much the appointments cost to get a minimum of 10. A big thing that I'm doing here, the reason that I did $1,500 yesterday and $2,000 on Tuesday or Monday was because I'm getting them to do a prepay discount. So I'm essentially what I'm telling them is, let's say, for numbers' sake, let's say that they are spending $200 per every appointment that I bring them. They're committing to 10, so they're going to spend at least $2,000 with me, right? I'll go and I'll tell you, I'll say, look, you're going to spend $2,000. If you decide to front that $2,000 investment into these 10 appointments, we'll throw in an extra 10 appointments for free. So instead of paying $2,000 for 10 appointments, you're paying $2,000 for 20. And then we'll also add in a condition in the agreement that will keep sending you appointments until you close a deal and get an ROI on the system. So that's how I incentivize people to prepay the appointment cost, to turn it around from just like a performance model to actually an upfront, not high ticket, $2,000, I wouldn't say is high ticket, but a more upfront cash collected incentivized type of structure. So that's what I did. Those clients that I signed this week, a lot of them were just prepay clients, plus obviously appointment costs from other clients, and getting them to commit to a certain amount of appointments and front the cost to get that incentive that I give them. That's the offer. Now, how the hell am I booking 5 to 10 sales meetings a day? Let's break it down. All right. Again, this is going to be an overview. If you want more specific videos on each of these steps, I can give them to you. But the first thing that we do in the funnel is we get a lead list. So what I do is I use a tool called Apify, right? I use a tool called Apify to go and scrape realtors' information off of realtor.com. So that's essentially what I do. I input what zip codes I want to pull realtor data from, and every single day I get a list of 3,000 to 5,000 realtors that I'm going and sending text messages to. The next step that I do is I send cold text messages. So I use a tool called Signal House. There's a ton of different SMS providers out there, but you use an SMS provider that's directly integrated with Go High Level, which you should be familiar with, right? It's just a CRM that every agency person in the online space uses. And so you integrate this SMS provider that allows you to send thousands of messages a day. That's the only way you can do a cold message process like this. So we're sending them a cold message, and I'll tell you, I just created a new script today. I'm not going to tell you the script actually, but essentially, what you want to do is in your cold outreach pitch on whatever platform it is, there's 3 parts to the pitch. You have to first connect with them. So, hey, John, I found you on X platform. This is why I'm reaching out. The second part of the pitch is you have to give your unique selling point and authority. I built this blank, unique thing that they haven't heard of before, and I've done it for over 100 people, right? Unique selling point and authority. Third part is the call to action. I love giving away a video, which is my VSL, my video that explains how it works and, shows them the full thing. So I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, could I send over a video that explains who we are and how the whole thing works, right? So that's kind of the pitch that I'm using. And this is the top of funnel, right? This is just getting attention, getting leads. Once they say yes, like, yes, Christian, send me this video, I consider them a lead because they raise their hand, they've shown some intent to want to learn more. Once they become a lead, two things happen. Number one is the AI just goes right back in and responds to them via text to send them a link to our website, which has the VSL, right? I have the VSL I'm using right now is an 8-minute video. All I do in the video is I explain, hey, this is who I am. This is my company. This is what we do. This is how the process works. And I explain the 3 steps in the plan on the offer that I just told you. I explain the pricing and what that kind of looks like. And then I explain, hey, go down below, go book a call so you can learn more and get on a call with me. That's the VSL. So we send them a link to that. But then we also, this is where most of my meetings come from. We have setters that are calling them up. As soon as they say yes to the pitch, they're calling them up. And we have a script that they follow every single time to call them, to qualify them, to explain to them how it works, and to book a meeting with me. So my setters are from the Philippines. They're killers, and they're both calling, 100 to 200 people a day, and they're able to line up these meetings for me, right? So the leads will either go onto the website, watch my video, and book a call, or my setter will catch them before they do that, get them on the phone, and book them in for a meeting. Now, here's what happens. That's the middle of funnel. That's nurturing. That's getting them booked in. What happens after that? Once they decide to book a meeting, either through my website or through my setter, is we send them to what I call a pre-selling library. What this is I host it on the back end of my website. You can do this on a YouTube channel. You could do this on a Google Drive folder. Essentially, you just want to have a sequence of videos that clearly explain and handle every possible objection they could have, right? So, my library, I have like 8 videos on there that handle every objection. If you've worked with another company and it didn't work, I have a video that explains the process. This is exactly the back end. This is what it looks like to work with us. I show case studies, right? I also hit them as part of my pre-selling kind of system. I hit them with emails that go over client case studies, that go over my story. The whole goal here is I want them to consume as much possible content and spend as much time with me as possible before they actually get onto that Zoom call with me. And when you implement a process like this, which I can make a whole hour-long video about on its own, when you implement a process like this, this is what helps your show-up rates to your meetings go up, your close rates and cash collected upfront go up, right? Because imagine, like, nobody's going to prepay for, 10 appointments from me and spend $2,000 unless they've been able to consume some content, understand that I'm trustworthy, understand that I've done this before, et cetera, et cetera. So this is like the most crucial part that people skip, is that bottom of funnel pre-selling library that gets them really indoctrinated with everything that we do, handles their objections before they get on the call. Now, that's in an ideal world that every single person goes through this. To be honest with you, some people don't. Some people don't take the time to go watch those videos. And I'm going to get to the point where my calendar is so busy, I'm just going to cancel those calls. But for now, I'm taking them. And those are always longer calls. Those are always lower show-up rate calls. So that's kind of the impact that a pre-selling library has. They show up to the meeting and I close them. That's what my funnel looks like. And I can go way more in depth, but this is an overview and a system that you could definitely replicate for yourself, as long as you're able to just get a lead list from Appify and get their phone number. So that's what I do. Now, what you'll see, what I'm going to show you now, is the delivery process. How do I get them results? How do I get them appointments? It's very similar to what I do. The only difference is we don't have a VSL for these realtors and we don't have a phone setter. The only difference is the AI setter. Now, you might be asking, Christian, why don't you use an AI setter? Well, I don't use an AI setter because I don't think it's at the point where it's better than a human setter yet. The reason I do it for clients is because it's a higher leverage on our time. I don't need to go hire somebody, to go and call all of my clients' leads. So we do the same process. We're cold texting homeowners, and then we have an AI setter that goes back and forth with them over messages to book them onto a phone appointment between the realtor and the homeowner, right? And so in the cold SMS, we're giving away a lead magnet, a first-time home selling guide or home buying guide, something to get the foot in the door and get them to actually want to show up to a phone appointment with my realtor. So my AI setter that we train on each client goes and sets these appointments with the people that say yes to our pitch. and it books it directly onto my realtor's calendar, and they get a text when we bring them an appointment, and then we charge them for the appointment, unless they prepaid for it. So we charge them. If they no-show the appointment or if something happens, we credit them, obviously to get a free appointment after that. But that's essentially what the delivery process looks like. We built the whole entire process based off of outreach, both for ourselves and for the clients. And it's led to building something that's scaling pretty damn quick. I'm really proud of this because this is a brand new business. This isn't my coaching. Look, if you see my Stripe account here, this is me being as transparent as I can. This is my other Stripe account. This is for my coaching business, Spartan Scaling. So this is for my agency. The original name to my agency was Spire. We have a DBA name now that I don't think I want to leak, but regardless, we're scaling to 100 grand a month and I'm excited. Now, I will mention that if you are interested in getting my help, which by the way, I don't know why this is so zoomed in, but I do have a one-on-one program where I can help you build the same thing. Now, you might be asking, Christian, well, why are you trying to sell me a one-on-one coaching program? Well, to be honest with you, I want to make more money and I want to help you, and so if you want to just speed up the process to building something similar to this, you can book a call with me down below to see what it would look like to work with me one-on-one, and we could build a game plan on how you could scale together. Again, if you're not interested and you don't want to spend money, by all means, just keep watching the free stuff. If anything, I'd love, just drop a comment. What do you want me to, what do you want to see? What do you want me to explain in this process? I'm a yapper. I'm a yapper at heart. Go watch any of my videos. I could yap about anything, right? And business is the one that gets me going. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and I appreciate you watching. See you soon.